The tax overhaul gained steam on Tuesday, clearing the Senate Budget Committee. The Senate could hold a procedural vote to begin debate on taxes as soon as Wednesday afternoon, but nothing has been officially scheduled. Republican leaders are still trying to secure the votes they need to pass the bill through the Senate. A trigger mechanism intended to assuage deficit hawks could turn into the next big fight. Now that the tax overhaul has been approved by the Budget Committee, the spotlight turns from the panel's 12 Republican members to the full 52-member Republican conference. The big question: will 50 Republicans get on board? The full Senate could begin to consider the tax overhaul as early as Wednesday afternoon. The first step would be a procedural vote to begin debate on taxes. If that vote succeeds, the ensuing debate would be limited to 20 hours, followed by a marathon series of amendment votes, a ritual known as a vote rama. A final Senate vote could occur later in the week. If the bill passes, the House and Senate would then need to reconcile their two tax plans. Senator Jerry Moran, Republican of Kansas, was a surprising holdout as his party worked to repeal the Affordable Care Act this year. Now the goal is a tax overhaul, an MR. Moran cautioned against adding to the debt as a result of the legislation. But Mr. Moran said on Tuesday night that he supported the Senate plan. "I expect to vote for the tax reform bill, but will continue to talk with my colleagues on ways to improve the legislation," he said in a statement. The latest idea among deficit-conscious Republicans is to install a trigger in the bill that would cause taxes to rise if the anticipated revenue falls short. Senator Bob Corker, a deficit hawk who threatened to vote against the bill, said he had gotten assurances that such a provision would be inserted. This is shaping up to be the next big fight that Senate Republicans will face, as some have bemoaned the concept as an automatic tax increase that ties their hands. The trigger is already proving to be a turnoff to conservative groups that have been pushing hard for tax cuts. A trigger that threatens tax hikes is a self-fulfilling threat to kill jobs, said Grover Norquist, the president of Americans for Tax Reform, an anti-tax group. And Brent Gardner, the chief government affairs officer at the conservative activist group Americans for Prosperity, said such a plan would add complexity and uncertainty to the tax code that would stifle the economy. This is why overhauling taxes is so difficult. Solving one problem often creates another. After months of claiming that they believe in dynamic scoring, Senate Republicans may get such an analysis from the Joint Committee on Taxation on Wednesday. The committee said that it was working to release an assessment by late Wednesday that would show the economic effects of the proposed tax cuts and the additional revenue that could be generated from accelerated economic growth. The analysis could be a last obstacle for Republican deficit hawks if it shows that the tax cuts would not, in fact, pay for themselves even with economic growth. Several Republicans dismissed that possibility on Tuesday, suggesting that they were confident that the plan would be revenue neutral or insisting that they did not want to get into hypotheticals before the release of the report.